I just want to make sure I was recording. Okay, and here we are. All right. Every pump, again, we didn't revisit the previous resistance. That doesn't mean we can't, but you would say that we probably will not come all the way back down to 72,000. But it doesn't mean we can't. But every time that we've had a big pump, we've gone sideways or even this, but we've never come back to the top of those previous impulse moves. So, again, it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It just, that's the one thing I start with. Bearish divergence on the weekly time frame, right? It was there, you know, it's been there here. Each week, I'm just like, well, it's still there. Like every time I've seen this away from the 21, we've had some type of pullback or at least sideways price action. At least sideways price action, you know. One of these two things is basically the likely scenario. Now, again, could this turn green? Next thing you know, we're ripping and this goes straight up. Yeah, anything is possible. Like, I've seen insane things. So we have to be, if you've listened to trading in the zone and you've gotten to the point of mastering your mindset, we're never going to fully master anything, but we're always like in the presence of mastering. And if you're always going after mastering your mindset, right? You know that that's the one rule about trading that Mark Douglas will give you in trading in the zone is anything is possible. Sad to say, it's kind of sad because when you're a beginning trader, I had to believe that no, I had to know what's going to happen and then trade on that, you know. And I had to make a decision, and again, I believe in the long run they're going to continue to print money. Bitcoin has halvings every 4 years. There's a mathematical data set of that it's going to, and the more people know about it, it's a safe haven against inflation. I only see Bitcoin going up over time. However, it will have these ebb and flows through cycles, right? I wouldn't be here if I didn't think Bitcoin was going to continue to go up. And I've been saying that since it was, since I found it around $500 to $1,000. Once I figured out what it did, I told everyone I knew, like, they're going to print your money to zero and this thing's going to continue to go up in value. You can do whatever you want, right? I just saw something I've never seen before too that I'm gonna draw. I've never seen it before. I just saw it in my mind. It's a pattern I've never seen. It's funny. I always see things when I'm with. I used to say that when I'm with the group. Mind blowing. David Angel. Drum roll, please, with a little bass in the back. So, I bet he can play. I bet he can play the drums, the guitar, and the bass. I bet he can. I bet he can. So this could come back down to the 200 MA. I mean the 21. Sorry, the 21 could creep up with it, and we could go sideways for a while. We could even trend upwards. You know, we could trend upwards and we could start an uptrend that pulls the 21 with us. No matter what happens of these three, and I call this the Twisted Sister. The reason I invented this because I used it on like the 1 minute and the 2 minute because it only takes like 20 minutes or 30 minutes to figure out which one this is going to do on the 1 minute time frame, right? And then you can, so like in realistic sense of the word, and this happens many times, price will pump. I'll draw one of these. I'll come back to it, or I'll sit and watch and be doing other things, and I'll keep watching. And when I finally look at it, it'll be filling this out. The 20 won't be touching. The Stokes will be low. I'll snatch my measured move, and I'll get in. And I can't tell you how many of these I've hit in my life, probably thousands. You know what I mean? So at this point, I know exactly what to do, so I do it. If that makes any sense. And so this is my, like we call it, the twisted sister. You don't know which way it's going to go, so you draw. Usually we don't draw the uptrend because that's only in a very bullish scenario. So I usually rule this out. I keep it around because it's Bitcoin right now, but it's usually ruled out. And you're either going sideways or you're going in it downward. Both of these are called bull flags when you're in a good bull market. Even though most people would call this a falling wedge. That might confuse beginners because like it's a falling wedge, but I saw them call it a bull flag. But like you pump up, you flag, you pump. We call it a bull flag. You know what I mean? Whether it's a sideways pennant, whether it's a little, you know what I mean? As long as that flag is way smaller than the big legs you've had before, it's a bull flag. You know what I mean? Again, one is a falling wedge though, and one is like a bullish rectangle or a pennant if you want to be really specific. So people are calling a wedge a bull flag all the time, but you'll understand too if you just stay in trading over time. Yeah, it's a bull flag. But if they were just a new beginner and you're looking at technicalities, for me, because I'm super detailed, like that might confuse me at first because I think, wait, they're calling it a bull flag, but that's a falling wedge. So I just wanted to clarify that if anyone had that vibe. So there's bearish divergence there for sure. Okay. Now, how strong the bearish divergence is really usually depends on support and resistance. All right. If you have strong support, that may hold, right? If you lose support, then it starts telling you that the bearish divergence could probably kick in and give you a pretty good low. So, like we had 97.2, and we really needed to hold that. And you can see we have already broken that now, and we're down to 96,600. So, Bitcoin lost 97.2. This candle is bearishly engulfing, means you can put this candle inside. It has a huge wick to the upside. Uh, and there's bearish divergence on the weekly is usually pretty strong. The last time we had bearish divergence on the weekly, it was the beginning of a bear market. And I want to like scare everyone and make them, but the last time we had it was here, and then we began a bear market, right? Is this the beginning of a bear market? I have to be honest with you. It could be. There's a chance, or maybe it's could have that been the end of the rally? I mean, we went from 15,000, and was it just a Bitcoin rally, and not enough money went into the altcoins? I mean, it seems no one else is saying that online, right? Not one person will say that. It's like I don't know. To me, the sad thing is there's a possibility. In my lifetime, I've just bearish divergence on the weekly is very, very strong. So that's why I kept saying, man, I kept pointing it out. I kept saying, I said, every time I've seen this, I've seen a nasty pullback. We'll find out. Like, is Bitcoin the most bullish asset in the world? And does it just consolidate strong here and pump? Only time will tell. Right. But in my lifetime and in my, and again, only, 15 years and 20 years of buying and selling, 15 years, and then 10 years of hardcore technical analysis, like, and a lot of back testing. But a bearish divergence on the weekly is very rare. You only see it once every 4, 5, 7 years on many a chart. And every time I've seen it, we've had a pretty nasty pullback due to it. And stochastics are high. So anyway, we'll find out. But this tells me that you have to revisit somewhere, usually in the 618 Fibonacci. Even similar here, if you pull the fib here, you can see we wicked right down into the golden pocket right there. It may have happened on a wick, but we did wick into the golden pocket. So whenever you get extended on the weekly, that 618 starts to kind of look very likely. Where people want to pull the 618, for me, I like to see where like the biggest impulse occurred. Like I could say it started here and it ended there. Some say, well, no, but that was the beginning of the impulse, was just right here, and we had a huge move. I'd be torn a little bit on that, but the idea is it looks like we'd be coming somewhere back down to 81,000 first. That would be a level that I'd be willing to concede on. So this definitely could be a bigger pullback for Bitcoin. And again, does that mean we're eventually going to rip back up to the upside? If the world keeps buying and if we continue in the bull run, yes. And then we get to like 137,000 maybe by May. That means we would pull back into February or January, and then we get a pump. That's the most likely scenario based on my years of doing this. You come back down to the 618 Fibonacci level, and you continue to, and then you eventually pump. That would take, sad to say, on the weekly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, somewhere between 6 and 10 weeks, right? Is that a guarantee? No, and what would stop that from happening? We're going to discuss that in a second. But so this is a likely scenario, everybody. And I'd been drawing it for a while now. And again, I'm not going to tell you I knew it was going to happen or it was going to happen this fast. Even I'm a bit like, dang, wow, like they really smashed it out the park today, you know. But I also, could see that there was signs of a pullback. Right. Anytime I've seen bearish divergence on the weekly, I've seen a pullback of pretty big proportions too, like not just the small ones. So I'm not surprised. I can't say I'm like amazed, and I can't say I didn't see an indicator that said this was likely going to happen. I was just, on the bullish side, hoping maybe we could go sideways, or sideways and down. But to me, even I said yesterday, I said even if we get this pullback and we come down, I said it wouldn't be the most bearish scenario. Like that could eventually show us we're in a bigger cycle. that's taken, going to go to some higher places. So now we're going to go to the 3-day chart. Okay. Every time I'm doing this, my kids act up. It's like because dad's not there. I don't know what it is. They act up and they gang up on my wife and they like badger her, man. It's crazy, bro. It's like when the father's not around, they try to get over on her. It's so crazy. Dave's like, I know it. It's so funny. Anyway, so back to where so 3-day chart. 3-day chart, the cool thing about the 3-day is it's already, pushed pretty far through the stochastic. You've dumped pretty much, but there still looks like there's more to come. All right. Like this might make a right shoulder. And look, I mean, a very strong bearish divergence on the 3-day chart. And we went over this before it happened. We pumped up and I said, there's some bearish diff. Still, could we be bullishly retesting? Like that was the one chance that could have saved us today. That was the one bullish thing. Like maybe we were bullish, but no, we fell through that area. I mean, could you be in some type of bullish, um, broadening wedge now that eventually bounces here and turns into a living more cylinder? Like, what if we make a living more cylinder, right? And then rip. There's so many possibilities that we must be open minded to. And we can't be stuck on one scenario in order to make it through and make the most money possible, right? I'm not selling Bitcoin for the next 5 to 6 years and I'm up good on it. So that's going to, you know what I mean? And again, that's going to take patience and time. And making, big money and life-changing wealth is not going to be, it's not going to be overnight. 5-year plan, 10-year plan. My first mentor in the crypto, I remember it, he preached it and I used to be like, come on, man. Like, but he would preach it. Like, and once I met him, he said, you need a 4-year plan, like to become a millionaire. It's going to take 4 years. If you set yourself now, and I'm not saying some people can't do it in this next bull run but like, if you really have a plan and say, I'm going to stick to it, and 4 years from now, you know, because 4 years from now, you'd have, basically, you'd have your halving, you'd be 6 months after a halving again, same kind of scenario. You'd be back into a bull run. And that could be when you really use all the tools you've learned here in this one to execute at a high level. Because it took everyone a few cycles to eventually, learn how to master and take profits out of it, basically make the cycle worth it no matter what, too. So, this is your like last, this is like, the last chance bullish scenario for me, like it does, we're doing something like this, some type of bullet. And I didn't even think about this till right now. And that's not the other pattern that I saw in my mind that I'm going to share with you in a second. And to me, 97,200 just keeps ringing in my head because it's that weekly support, right? So if this weekly candle can close above 97.2, I'm gonna be okay. That's the first step of digging out of the trenches for me. Can we get a weekly candle above 97,200? If we can do that, and that's gonna be in 2 days and 23 hours. So that's all I'm asking. I'd take 97.8 too, like on top of these two. You know what I mean? I'll take either of these, a close above this yellow line or a close above those. Then can we go from there? I start small after a big dump and I start with little goals. Can Bitcoin do this? All right, next week, can we do that? You know, that's how we remember when we got here. I was always like, can we get above this key level? And oh, yeah, once we're above there, can we get them? You know what I mean? Once we take out that, we're on our way. And I kept saying, once we made 98, once we broke out of 98,005, anyway, we could see that. But even here, like You knew once you got above this high, right, which was 60 or 70,000, really, 69, 8, that you were going to blast through the all time high. It's just like the high right before the high is really the gate because it's like another high usually is so easy and the momentum is just too strong, right? But we did Wick though. They played games. I mean, it wasn't perfect. We forget all we've been through here on the way up. It's been a long road. So now we got some bearish div on the weekly. And, if this candle closes, maybe it's possible we break out on some, but that's bearish to me. And the weekly looks like it has a date with the 21-day moving average, right? If we're lucky. Okay. And then the RSI looks like it may want to start to come down a little bit. I mean, the last time the RSI crossed the dotted line right there was the beginning of a nasty dump for Bitcoin, right? We eventually would have a secondary rally. Right there, we crossed the dotted line, and that was our last correction. So, are we on some type of super cycle that's going to stay up here way longer than this one did? And this, weekly bearish div is going to just be part of the bigger picture. But honestly, I'll be honest with all of you, my mind's too mature to know, right? I haven't been through enough markets that long and that big, 10 years straight. You know what I mean? I've only seen like 10 years of Walmart, 10 years of trading gold, 20 now. But you know what I mean? Hardcore trading, understanding the market. And then Bitcoin actually, if Bitcoin was longer, it would make, I could figure it out. But we can't back test enough of these cycles to see if this is, all I know is when I've seen weekly bearish div, we have pulled back pretty bad. That's all. Like at least 30%. The asset usually takes, and in my life, it's usually the beginning of a pretty nasty bear market. I have to be honest. Like, um, now, again, I'm a trend guy. So to me, we got to, like, how did this end? We had a low, we had a high, right? And really, when this high came down on the daily, really, if you watch the trend on the daily, but you're making these highs, and once this high broke that, right? Boom, that's a low. And then you made another low. And then once you couldn't, you set your resistance. And then once your next high is below resistance, I mean, and then you lost the 200 man the daily. And that began like a nasty pullback. So you really want to look at the trend, and see. And right now the trend's like, the trend's all right. You have a low, a high, a low, a higher high, really on the wick in a way, a higher low, a higher high, and it's still technically right there, a higher low. Now, once you take out this low here, that's not going to be the best, right? Because that low really says, okay, maybe you can make a lower high now. And really like these lows here. So if you come down and take out those lows, then it would assume the next high would be a lower high, then a lower low, and then we'd be in some type of bigger downtrend on the daily where we would be coming down to the 200 MA. The story usually ends near the 200. Now, if you bounce, fine, that's a chance. If not, though, and you lose it, I mean, that's some real bearish times. And so again, I'm just being a realist. These are tough screen shares to have on days like these. And again, next week we could be pumping at 105,000. I hate, and everyone's like, "Oh, Sam," but that's and I'm bringing you back and forth because that's literally how you have to feel. Like you have to be. Um, at the end of the day, I believe Bitcoin's the best asset. We trade altcoins for eventually to get more Bitcoin or to get money for our life, and then to hopefully maybe stash Bitcoin if it comes back down at one point. For me, like altcoins are just an ends to a mean. Bitcoin's a store of value, right? So they're just if you keep, I don't know if again, I know not everyone did exactly what I do, and I'm not a financial advisor, but had I, my plan that I followed through on right now is keeping me pretty, because the majority of my net worth is in Bitcoin, not in altcoins. You see, so right now I'm sitting pretty. I'm looking at it, fine. Altcoin portfolio took a hit, but that's kind of what I'm willing to lose. My Bitcoin is like what I'm like. So again, before I used to be way the other way. And there was days when I remember I was buying so much Bitcoin when I was like, man, you'll make so much money if you just bought an altcoin today. And my mind knew that in a way, but I was like, man, it's not really about making money. It's about stacking Bitcoin. You know, I don't know. I understood that I could maybe make more money or be richer in the USD value, but that never was that. I don't know. I'm kind of like a hippie, if you want to say. Like I don't go after the values that are sent to the society. Like, okay, so I'd be richer in USD, and then eventually I'd have to get it back into Bitcoin at one point, and maybe Bitcoin is going to be higher. So I'd rather chase Bitcoin value, and that the OGs of cryptocurrency taught me that at the very when I got in after a few years. So like you should have a Bitcoin, you know, account in your mind. It's like today I have 10 Bitcoin. Like next few weeks I want 11, and then I'd like to get to 20 or whatever it's not. It shouldn't be I want to make $10 million. But again, you do whatever makes you happy. I'm not a financial advisor, but in my mind, it should be how again, you could say I'm drinking the Kool-Aid and I'm brainwashed. And I want everyone to be happy. Some people are in this game just to make a few million, get out, buy their house, and Bitcoin's just kind of something they want to trade. And I get it. I teach you guys how to trade. Trading is trading. But I'm like a firm long-term believer in BTC, as much as I am a trader. That differentiates me from like a lot of the other trading group guys. And because I see some of the guys, they're just like they are traders full and blown. And I am a trader full and blown, but I'm also like a full blown Bitcoin guy, you know? So some traders aren't like they're just traders. Bitcoin's just another asset to them, you know. A lot of the crypto guys though, we got into Bitcoin because of what we saw in society, because of the way things were going. So could we get a bounce here for Bitcoin? There's a chance, and we're gonna break that down. But like, strong bearish div, again, 8 hour time frame. Even has like a head and shoulder there. Look, head and shoulder looks like that could, like it already kind of started to go lower. That has a bigger measured move. And then you look at your 4 hour. And when you lose the 4 hour 200 MA, that's usually the beginning of a bigger dump. Sad to say. Once a candle on the 4 hour closes below the 200, which we already have had two now, that would signify that we're going a lot lower. That's like the beginning of usually a nasty dump. Now, either they're using that to really get people to sell, uh, but I will tell you, like, you know, just this is how I swing trade, right? Or even how I trade. Like, once we go below here, I'm out of the long. If we get back above, I can always long. So right now, like, it's not the worst idea to put in a short and just keep a stop on the other side of the 200 MA, like maybe one support. Fine, we come back up. That distance isn't that big right now. The stop loss, you won't lose too much, right? And then maybe we keep the 4 hour and and maybe we come up, come back down, whatever. Who knows? You never know. But the idea is this is a head short that I've talked about before. The last time we had a big dump, we went over the same thing here. That would have covered you. Had you got in right there and left a stop loss, finally, actually, the first time they did come and get us first, like so on the first two candles, they would have come and grabbed them, and then they dumped it. I'm relentless, man. You just do it again, and then you win that one, and it pays the stop loss and more. But this one was clean. Like you just opened it right around here with the stop loss up here. You got paid so nicely. Same one here. Had you opened it when like maybe one or two candles here, stop loss up here, you would have been paid very nicely. This one was nice, but it was small, but it still would have paid you. With that one was tiny too, but it would have paid a little bit. And the thing is, you move these stop losses to break even once you're up a significant amount. Like once you start dumping down here somewhere, stop loss gets moved to here, right? And then you just, you can go to sleep on that. And so we haven't been below the 4 hour 200 MA, like I said, since August 10th. It's been 2 months. And here we are today, right? So you got to heed this and take it serious. And you'd say, well, where would we take profit? I mean, we could trail this to see how low we go. We don't know for sure, right? So possibly down to 87,005. There's a chance, possibly, 91,000. Do we bounce right here? It's a bit of a double bottom there. There's a lot of support here. But to me, it tells me that, and look, the faster the better now. Not yet, because we just had a cushion 96, 230. The cushion disappears so fast from the 200 MA. Whenever you lose the 4 hour, you just, and I've been back testing this stuff for a long time. As you can see, they may come back up and hit the shorts and come back down again. I can't tell you I know what's going to happen, but I can tell you most of the time, and you can back test it yourself and on more than just Bitcoin, this will pay. This will pay. I'm just looking at weeks right now. So 5 minute below the 200, 15 minute, no signs of like good divergences. We just keep coming up a little bit and then rolling over, you know? So even the smaller time frames don't look amazing. And it's the same exact concept when you get above the 200 MA. Same exact idea, right? And I really just pull that till it gives me the 3 to 1. I got to see where that would take me, you know? Will I stay in the trade to 85,000? There's a chance, unlikely though. I usually take what's mine pretty fast. Like if we start dumping and we end up somewhere in 90K or 90, even 92 or 3, I'll probably take the trade down, right? So you hit this is weeks. I hit short. I'm isolated. Bring that down a little bit. High risk as well. Less people in the order book. They could easily flip it the other way. But I'm just 8 out of 10 times I'm going to win this trade. So if I lose it tonight, so be it. I'll take it the next time. You know what I mean? The odds of me winning it are higher over time. You have to understand that. You might see me hit a trade and lose it, but you gotta watch me for a month before you really judge my trading style because you gotta watch my overall rate over time. So the target would be 85, 866 or 664. Doesn't mean I'm definitely going to go all the way to that area, but it tells me that if we do dump hard, there's a chance we go to that level. Okay. And then the stop loss would have to be about 99,000, 99,851. I'd rather be a little higher than I need to be. And for this trade, yeah, like 500 for 1,400, maybe even a little more, like 600 for 1,400. You know what I mean? If I lose 600, so be it. But, and I'd still like to hone in on the 1 hour. 1 hour's, yeah. See, the 1 hour looks like it could be rolling over, like a shoulder ahead or right shoulder. You can almost say, well, that's some good bullish div, but it's really not. We might get a bounce here with the secondary high or low. It's also very, very sketchy to trade because the order book's light. So even if they keep pushing it down, they'll easily, you want to try to find yourself a good spot. Even the 1 hour 200 MA, we did just bounce too. We bounced from like Funny, that's a tiny move, but it's like we bounced from 95, 970. A lot of times too, they'll pump this up, get rejected. Like to win bigger trades, I found you have to like there's got to be wiggle room. Meaning like if I take this trade for 500 for 18 or 600 for 18, I got to understand that there may be some time I may be down 300, 400, might even get close to 500, you know what I mean? And the trade still plays out as long as that, there's that wiggle room, right? Some of the biggest trades I've hit were the ones that were like, you know, maybe in a little more of a loss for a while too, just because sometimes you want to trade the 4 hour and you can see that the 4 hour is likely going to do its thing. And you don't really have maybe you might be going somewhere. You don't have time to sit here and stare at the 1 hour, the 1 minute, and the five, make sure everything's perfect on that time frame. And you got to just trust the 4 hour and move on. And I do that a lot on my bigger accounts, my bigger trades. If it's like when it's, 6,000 for 18,000, stuff like that. And that way it's just kind of like I trade the bigger time frame, I make the trade, I walk away. The only thing about those trades is I know I might come back and see that I'm down 300, 400 bucks because I didn't stare at the tiny small time frames and nail the exact area that I wanted to get in. So this is going to use $1,000 in margin, which isn't bad, right? And actually the entry is pretty hot up there at 96.3. And we're already starting to kind of come down. When we lose 96,000 the second time, looks like we may go lower. And so 85,000 could be a key level, and it's also a fib. I'm surprised we're doing a prolonged dip now, though. That's not bull markets usually like the ones we were seeing. And it felt very bull market-esque because there was nasty dips, but they were like they brought us to 90, but brought it right back, brought it down here. And they just kept on pace. You know, you're attempting the double bottom here at 96,000. You can see right there. So you haven't taken out the low yet, but once you do that, you will have taken out that low, and you would just have to assume there's going to be a higher low and a higher high, a lower high, and then continue in the downtrend. And you can track your trade down here and see what's happening. Your realized P&L, your unrealized, your return on investment, your margin ratio, your liquidation price, and make sure your stop loss and your liquidation price, you know, uh, you want to make sure your stop loss is well below if you're shorting or well above if you're longing. Your your liquidation price, right? Very important. So this is basically a head short. All right. I'd love it to get back above the four. I'd love us to pump and everything go well, and I'll just lose, thousand like 500, 600 bucks, and we go on. And I can start trading business as usual and go from there. But I'm covered tonight. We take a nasty dump, and a lot of times below the 4 hour, we do take a dump. So you do whatever makes you happy. And if I see, and then again, if I see a bear flag or like a continuation too, I could add to this trade. Like let's see the 5 minute. Seems to me like it's kind of rolling over there. Could almost be making like a descending triangle of sorts. Almost an Adam and Eve, like inside. You see that? It's like a hidden Adam and Eve. But yeah, wouldn't be that looks pretty ugly. 91,000. And again, I could easily lose this. It is a Thursday night. I don't normally trade Thursday nights, but it's just a head short. So, and there you have kind of where I see Bitcoin. Not my favorite thing to do, but yeah. Again, what's the bullish scenario? This is some type of falling wedge. Somehow we make a double bottom here and the wedge breaks back to the upside. We liquidate all these shorts, including me. I won't get liquidated though, but I'll get stopped out and we blast back to the upside. I'm usually taking this long, right? That's me, but we're above the 4 hour, all those longs I took. Remember all the reversals I called? We were above the 200 million when I called those reversals. So, we'll see. We're bouncing between 97.3 now and 96,000, and we bounced again. The 1 minute cracks in 200 May, I would have to watch my short. And that's the one thing, but if we do we keep barely getting above it. But maybe this is the one time. That'll be funny. I waited all time, then we'll get above this, and then it will boom. So I'll keep an eye on it. But I don't want to stare at it too much and just let the 4 hour do its thing. And now we're looking at the net, altcoins, right? And the first thing we want to look at is total three. Remember, a salt like this was like as long as it can hold that. Now it's funny, it wasn't a symmetrical triangle. And I keep saying every single time I've seen these now, they were symmetrical triangles. They used to kind of break up or down. But about a year ago, I didn't see one that didn't dip. And now like every single one I've seen has dumped. You would think the whole world would be jumping to get into altcoins right now and just being like, these are the best prices in the world, right? So like this could bounce right back to the upside here. You know, the feeling in you wants to remain bullish. Like we're just going to be right. We're going to be 105,000 in a couple days, and everyone's going to laugh and just buy the dip, and everything's going to be great, right? I'd buy the dip on a lot of the stuff, but a lot of stuff I bought is still lower than the dip. Except for some new things. Maybe there's a couple things I may buy the dip on, but to me, Bitcoin's the only really enticing thing right now because I slowed down on buying Bitcoin. It's a pretty good time to possibly buy some more. I mean, we need this, like, whatever this is, an inverted head and shoulder. And we just got to get that love and get out of here, consolidate and continue to the upside. That, really important that we make some type of consolidation that bounces back here to the upside for these altcoins. You could kind of say there's some hidden bullish because that swings up, that swings down. You don't touch that. I don't usually skip that, but there is some hidden bullish there. That's like my Hail Mary scenario for these altcoins that like this previous support holds, previous resistance holds the support, and we bounce. We bounce right here, basically where we just bounced 931. I feel like Bitcoin just bounced, right? It ripped. Look at this thing. It's crazy too, man. Lately, I feel like every other time I'm looking at the chart, it's just like flipping on me. So weird. I gotta let it wiggle though, man. That 4 hours below the 200. So, but so oversold. Again, remember the short I made is really a head short. It's not like I'd love it not to go the other way. And I would be still DCing into coins. Like I'm not like let's pile in and DCA into a short and build and let's take us all the way down to 85,000. It's more like if this continues to dump, this covers me. I'd love it if we can get a rip back to the upside. You know what I mean? But all I know is every time we've closed candles below the 4 hour, we've gotten a pretty nasty dump after that. So the odds are in my favor. I should win it, but again, who knows? Right now, it's starting to rip against me immediately. So there's a double bottom on the 1 hour that could get me. What's cool too is I'll have that on another account. I could still long if we break the 200 May on the 1 minute. I'll long, right? End up breaking even. I'll make probably the same amount I'll lose and then break even. But hey, at least I'm breaking even. And then we're back above the key levels, and then we can, keep going for the rest of the week and keep pushing. And if we take a nasty dump, I'm covered on the dump, right? And then I'll be able to find the next bear flag. Once you're in a short too, it's easier to continue the short. I found like I'll be able to find a bear flag and continue or short more. But if I'm not in the short yet and we start dumping, it may be like harder to enter the short. So dang man. And it's also Thursday. Like it's a very sketchy night, even though it is we're having this crazy move. When they liquidate everybody, then there's openness on the order book where they can toy around. So there's basically more likelihood of you getting stopped out. That is kind of a bullish div too there, right there. That's technically flat while that came up. Had a couple of those already though. It didn't do too much. Yeah, so we flipped the 4 hour 200 MA. That's when I would basically begin to abandon the short and would, suggest that we could possibly get a boom back to the upside. Maybe and you'd look, is this making some type of like inverted head and shoulder that's going to break us back up? And then this is just a dip, a short-lived dip. We're back on pumping and all is well, right? So, dang man, I sucks, man. That thing is pumping immediately. It's just not. It's hard for me because usually when I get into a trade, I win. I'm not good at not winning my trades, So I've been spoiled the last few months. Honestly, that you see, but last like 2 3 years really, where like when I call Bitcoin, I'm pretty nice at it. Right now, the market's in shambles. Like it's going to take a couple days for all of the things to kind of like. We really need to you got to see what happened. Like we just got this massive bang, and you kind of have to step back and see what happened. Look at this. They're pumping this thing. The second I got into this long, they pumped it. It's crazy. They pumped it up. First, they dumped it, and I was like, oh, I missed the entry. And then they pumped it up, and I was like, oh, that's a better price. Then they started dumping it back again. I'm like, all right, that's probably the direction it's going. Definitely fake me out. And they just keep dumping the price, and like, so it's kind of it's hard to see. Like, is this where they're going to stop dumping? And because we were in price discovery, we don't have a lot of defined support and resistance. That's like very easy to detect. So this is like very difficult trading. You're in like semi price discovery with not a lot of support and resistance areas. And you're also trying to find out like, it looks like they're going to just use what, possibly 96,000. Could we bounce? And so all I can go on is my data. And my data says when you're below the 200 MA on the 4 hour, it's no good. And you're usually going to dump. Could be a good place to add to the trade right there. Now that we went up a little bit. And that's another reason why I'm covered too, right? Like my stop loss is somewhere up in there. So it's a broader range trade. It's actually a pretty humble trade. I don't have it here, you know what I mean? The one on weeks. It's on weeks right now. What is it down already? 100 bucks. But the idea is, it's going to have to come all the way back up here to stop me out. That'd be a nice substantial pump. It could happen. Look, it's a double bottom, but only time will tell. Let's see if Sammy wins or loses. If you don't take a trade, nothing's going to happen. All right. What's up, Audrey? How you been, my friend? Yeah, your charts are amazing, man. Great detail. I see a young me in you. You're doing very good. Um, but you're doing great, man. Yeah, so bearish scenario, we stay below that 4 hour and we dump. And we dump back down to possibly 92,000 because you see there's a pretty good gap down there. And the bullet scenario is that double bottom holds on the 1 hour. And we begin to push. We get above the 200 MA on the 1 minute, right? We crawl back above the weekly support at 97.2, and then we stay above 97.2, and we don't go below that again. And we just kind of like, we do whatever, but we don't go below 97.2. So it'll be crucial tonight that we get back above this area and I lose that trade for Bitcoin's sake, right? Otherwise, like, we definitely could be seeing some lower lows. Take a look at what Bookmap is suggesting. Bookmap suggests that we go lower to, all the way to 89,000. So Bookmap's in my favor that I'll win this trade. There's just way more liquidity to the downside than to the upside. It's all down there. So again, it's not 100%, but in my lifetime, when I've traded with the liquidity like that, where it's going, I've won the trade more than I've lost it. We'll see what happens. Sitting at 96,700. All right, let's talk about moves of the week. What did I do this week? Well, I got into TMAI for $1,000 when it ripped, and I made about 7 grand on it. I sat there and I said, I believe this coin's going to continue to pump. I said, but this is an exorbitant amount of money to make in a very fast amount of time. And we might have held it for 4 or 5 days, but it really pumped once. Like, it just out of nowhere started pumping. And I probably could have made like, I think 12 grand or even more. It went to like 14. And I sold that puppy and I took the profits and I sent it to my bank account. Like, was a good, bad idea. I also got airdropped it, and the airdrop's pretty healthy right now. So, and then it looked like it was going to bounce off the 618, and it did, miraculously. It did. So, interesting enough, this coin looks strong compared to the rest of the market. It came out really early, and usually a coin that comes out that early could dump. But remember, it's token metrics AI. Like, so that looks bullish to me. And again, Bitcoin could ruin the show for everything. But even if you're trying to like a short a market or look for some, token metrics works for any market, right? Bullish or bearish, and can give you indications, can tell you. So to me, it's just a useful tool for trading, regardless. And that looks really bullish to me. And I didn't even expect it to look this bullish when I went to look at it with each and every one of you. If that stays that way, we'd have to respect the fact that it could pump, right? So boom, TMAI, strong. And again, you can see why it's a strong coin. It has its own narrative. It's connected to its entire own company, and that's a great resource for millions of people. And it got airdropped a lot of it, and it seems like people like, yeah, I'm still holding that airdrop, and I threw a little in before I left just to have a little bit. So I got a little bag, and I'd love to see this thing continue to pump. It'd be awesome. So, but I did take some profits, and it felt good to take some profits. And then, even when after this, it feels even better, right? But that's just what one of the plays I made this week. And it's pretty nice to turn $1,000 into over 7 grand. And then virtual. And I found virtual here. I kept number one, I wanted virtual when it started pumping, and it just pumped so fast. And we put it out to the group here. I found it early and started posting the flags. And almost every time I found a flag, remember when I first found it here, it was this flag that like didn't play out once. It like fell off, but then I stayed with it, and then I stayed with it, and then it did the nice pump. But then I remember this flag, and this flag was just perfect. And so I've been watching it for so long, really, since it really started coming out, because I can see when a coin first comes out on MEXC, and that's a big key to find. And then I'm also looking for narratives, and I match those two things. But this thing was, if you know what this thing is, it's sentient, and in a whole world of coins come out of this coin. Like, it's like the mother of the AI sentient. And anyway, I threw like 8 grand in it at around 150, and I sold it. Because I haven't been swing trading a lot. I've been building positions and just watching my account, just and then doing leverage trades. And everything else has just been kind of watching the alts balloon. I've been taking profits here and there. I took some profits on TIA like maybe 3 weeks ago. But yeah, so I hadn't like, actually sold and taken some money out of the market. And I took both of these and it was nice. And I saw, and it was basically it turned 8 grand into $23,000, which, when you think about it, it's pretty sweet. And it did it in like, I did that in about 6, 7 days. So, and that was last week. So I don't know. Um, and anyone could have done it, right? If you were just not, if you weren't like holding and you just wanted to swing, like the market has, and that's why I'm really trying to, I try to tell this to people because it's me talking to myself. The first market I was in, I made a swing trade a couple times, but it was hold everything, watch it pump, sell a few of the pumps, and then when the market dumped, didn't understand, right, and like left with barely what I could get. The second rally was like watch everything, build positions. They kind of they started pumping the rally towards the end of 2021. It was like it was honestly a very strange alt season. It had like two alt seasons that one didn't really complete. It was a bit odd. But still, there was massive gains to be had, and I was able to take a lot of money out of that market just because there was just and some of my bigger positions were just obvious, and I didn't sell them at the exact top, but there was just enough to take out. Um, then this rally has really been a Bitcoin rally. That's really already made me both, and anyone who rode up with us like a lot of money off of Bitcoin alone. I mean, Bitcoin did a 7x, so like or 6x or something, right? I mean, 15K 5x times 50. More, no, it did a 7x. Did a 7x because, yeah, that's 95,000. 7 times 10 is 70. 7 times 5, 30, 105. Yeah, it did a 7x. That's crazy. It did a 7x since 15,000 in under 2 years about. That's pretty awesome. I mean, um, so, and again, I didn't like sell big, I didn't sell any Bitcoin. I'm not, but I was in so early that like as I kept seeing that multiply, it was just pretty mind boggling. So then we're here now with like, okay, uh, what now? We've had this huge run up in certain coins. I'm up now in Solana still. I got in 100 grand at 110. We're at 195 now. Like, do I take profit? Like, and this is where like bull runs really challenge you as a person because some people will sell, some people won't. Like, where are we going to go? And again, and I don't know exactly what's going to happen. All right. I have to kind of stick to a firm belief, but at one point I have to listen to the technical analysis no matter what. So like if we lose the daily 200 MA, I'd have to start considering that, there's going to be a deeper pullback. Now, can I handle that deeper pullback and do I want to wait that long? And those are questions I kind of have to ask myself today. So if it happens, I'm like at least a few steps ahead of that behavior, right? So here, look, I mean, the daily 200 is not that far away. We dabbled with it before though when I didn't sell my bags, and I was like almost back to break even from when I got in around here at 109, right? We are at 126. So like I've already kind of done this, but it was pretty good consolidation. We do have strong support and resistance too as well now. So you'd have to be like, all right, we lose the daily and then we're below 155. You'd have to think that 126 is coming. And then at that point, are we going to start to make lower lows? So in my mind, if Solana can't get above like 215 in the next 2 weeks, I'd consider something like it would tell me that something bigger in the market is coming here. So like we really need to see a reversal pretty soon. Otherwise, it looks like we may be in for some problems. Right? Only Bitcoin getting a beautiful pump to the upside. Now look, there's my signal about to cross. A little far from the 21-day moving average, but that's that bullish signal I wait for. And this is like a crazy time too. You're below the 4 hour 200 MA, but you're above the 1 minute. What do you do then, Sam? Honestly, I don't know. Like, I would have to trust the 4 hour and leave it alone. You know what I mean? And then still scalp this. And what I would hope to do is scalp enough on this that would balance my stop loss on on the short. You see? So, you know what I mean? Sometimes you don't win at all, but sometimes you break even enough. Sometimes your trading skills just keep you flat again. But you were covered either way. You know what I mean? I don't have all the answers. I just use different strategies to help myself out, but I don't have all the answers. And again, I've been leverage trading for 10 years. Like I'm a guy who made a boatload of money spot trading and swing trading, and then even in the stock market, I swung trade. That was my forte. Get into some. I put like 5 grand into something and plan to turn it into anywhere between try to make between 2 and 7 grand off of it if I could. Yeah, if you could double in the stock market, it was great, but just 2 grand would be nice. My favorite trades are trades that take about between 5 and 7 days, and I put between 5 and 10 grand in them, and I make between 5 and 10 grand off of them. Like the ones I just made on the one I made on virtual was like just a beautiful trade. And again, when I sold both those coins too, the bull market rang in my head and was like, "Oh, this is going to keep pumping. You shouldn't sell these. You never sell a bull run. You should know better." And I was like, "All right, well, like, you know, I mean, when you think about it, nation states buying Bitcoin, people wanting in, you think like we're just going to continue to pump. That's what you want to believe. Like that's what like the guy who just wants to, oh, we're going to be at 105,000 in a couple days. Like this was nothing. We're all going to laugh about this and it's going to be over. And that's why I usually don't even short. It's very rare for me. That's why even when I made that short, I was kind of like, why even do it? Because I'm not into shorting the bull run. Like it's just not my thing. It's very hard for me, no, you guys saw me short a lot before when we were in chop up and down because we were in chop. But like we had that massive move. We broke 100K and I was like, now we're going to short the market? I don't know. It just felt a little odd for me. Even shorting it now is odd because it's like I'm shorting against my net worth. But it is what it is. And now I got a hedge. And again, you don't have to do anything I'm doing. So look, this 21 comes and crosses. Again, we faked this out many times and it really was nil. So I'll wait till I get stopped out. But I love, we get above 97,000, even in 97.2, that's the area that I just discussed, right? And I'm like, well, and again, look, that's that like 98.2 there too is pretty interesting. We get above 97,200 and then the weekly can really reverse. As I said before, as long as the weekly stays above 97.2, then I can't really like, I can't subscribe to a massive dump. The second we close a candle below that area, then I'd have to say, okay, it looks like we're going to be dumping pretty hard. So this is my other account, Maxi, right? 98,339. I just got to make 500 bucks. That's like a couple trades. 98, I'm missing it too. 96, 887. It's also Thursday night where I'm not usually going to trade this. The reason why I wouldn't trade Thursday night, it just tends to have lower volume than a Monday night, a Tuesday night, or a Wednesday night. So I found it's harder to win the trade. That's all. Price action's more flop and gropes more than goes in a nice firm direction. When there's more people in the market, more people do the wrong thing, the market goes in one way, at least in sections better. And so when you see when I capitalize on a signal, it's highly likely you get your move. That's all. Like I can be on the live on a Monday, and be like we're gonna bounce off this, and we do, and like fun stuff happens. But it looks more flopping and gropey on like Saturdays, on Thursdays, Fridays, because the market just doesn't have the volume. So these can be smaller trades because you don't want to like strong now. I mean, Bitcoin's been pumping since we started this. Hmm. I'm just stuck in the moment. It's like this moment right before you are seriously about to enter a trade. It's always like this. There's a for me, there's like a deep moment where I'm going over the last and final moment of risk and whether it's worth to take the risk or not. I'd like to see this 21 cross first, but we're showing strength. We're just like a little too far from the 21. I'd like this 21 to cross the 200 first. That's when I know the probability is higher. So I'm like the more I sit on my hands, the more I could miss a pump too. But it is what it is. You just got to be chill. Map still suggests that we're gonna go way lower, but got some liquidity up to 99,000. Funny, we're still so close to 100K again. It's like 97.4. It's funny how like they made this market feel like we got devastated, but I'm like we're still at such a high point. We're at 97,000. Like I remember when we hit 90K. Remember we were at 70K and then it was 80K, 90K. It happened so fast. It was just out of control. Pretty nuts. And this stochastics pointing down while price is coming up is a divergence too. That's a bullish sign. Now, if this just is lackluster and we lose the 200 here in the 1 minute, then it's more likely I'm going to win the short. This pumps up, then it is what it is. It's price action. See how crazy it is? Look at the 1 minute just playing ping pong right on this line. That candle close indecision doji style. Almost a bearish div there. See how it comes down on the RSI, but up on price. Above the weekly support now, above 97.2. Is that right there? Yes, and that would also cover me on the long. Hmm. This is my favorite model. I just don't trade it Thursday night, so I'm like, so I'm sorry, everyone. I'm like sitting there staring at this. I like to see this 21 across that too. But this is what I do. You'll see me like when I'm in the group. I'm at my desk like this alone. Just I kind of like, I guess I enjoy it. And I watch as the candles change and each one gives me a message and from my past experiences. And then I have like a projection of what I would like to see that would be more bullish. They could just be inducing the longs, trying to get them all excited. So I just it definitely was a lot of manipulation today. Now that the 21 crossed the 200, that's an even better sign. Because it means when you come there, you're likely not going to have to hit the 200 again, even if you have to come back to the 21. It keeps going sideways in the flag. I like it now. I've given it enough time to consolidate. We'll see. Now, do I just cut the other long off, the short off? I just, I'm still like brainwashed by the 4 hour 200. I've seen that do some damage. So I'm like again, this is how we get back above though, and things change. But this could easily dump too. So the good thing about trading is anything can happen. The bad thing about trading is anything can happen. You know what I mean? Funny. The good thing is because that thing, the thing that you believe could happen, could happen. That's the good thing. Now, do I just cut the trade off? That 4 hour has me sketched out. Has me saying, you know what? I'd rather give them that that stop loss on the other side of the four. You see, and make the bull and make them get above this. Make them get a. Show me you can get above the 4 hour 200 May. Show me you can do that. I mean, look at that wick, wick, wick. That's pretty nice. The 4 hour does look like it wants to reverse. Again, and when it reverses, this is how it will reverse. We'll make some type of pennant above the 200 MA, and we will get a reversal. And then boom, we'll go right after the shorts again. And you can also sit on your hands. You don't have to do anything. Just watch what price action does. The trades, whatever we do, the trades will be better. Either we finally dump and settle, find somewhere in the next few days, or if we pump and you know what I mean. But right now we're in a very mass liquidation state. It's got the order books just with less people around. That looks like it's going to pump now. I mean, look at the 21 coming up to it. It looks very likely like it's going to pump. Now you're above the smooth. If I get away, this other line is the smooth moving average. See, now we're above the smooth. Hmm. Oh, Bitcoin 97.5 ain't bad, man. Not at all. Not after that. We found a bottom at 95.9. We double bottom there, and we've been ripping ever since. Close a candle above the 4 hour 200 MA, and then I'll begin to believe that the bulls could get us back into action here. And then I guess we'd be in that like broadening wedge or a little bit more cylinder. And again, you see my accounts with, and I buy positions of hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then if I lose this trade, I'm still trying to cover 500 bucks. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't throw money around. Like, and when I lose, it's very small compared to what I win. All right. I see people in our group or just randomly in trades and Twitter, and the amount of money they lose is like, I wouldn't lose that much money. I guess I worked so hard for my money. I worked a night shift for 6 years. And I think once you work a night shift for 6 years, I think you always look at your money a little differently for the rest of your life. You just will. Because you'll remember like all those nights where you were exhausted, like coming home on a train late at night. Like that doesn't leave you. Like, tonight I thought about my life and I was like, man, I'm used to have to get out and go to work on a Thursday night and get my bicycle and take it into the city. And again, it wasn't the worst job in the world. I had computers. It was fine. It was cushy life. But man, it was a night shift and I was isolated and I was tired a lot. And my mom was, I was just pushing myself through like a weird cycle of life. And to get my paycheck, and then I put that paycheck into BTC, and it grew for me. And I believed that there was going to be a better life for me one day, and that I wasn't going to be doing that forever, you know. And so now, when I look at money and I look at the opportunities in my life and things that I'm seeing, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm so grateful for even any small win and and I don't like to lose. I really don't like to lose a lot of money. Like, I'm cool with just adding a little more to the portfolio. Like if I had $10,000 in my account, I'd rather make a couple grand more than try to risk 8 grand for 20 grand. You know, like I'm not trying to like go for it's like for me, it's more about constant growth, no matter what the account is. Like I could have $20 million in Bitcoin. I don't, but if I could, and if I did, like I'd still manage my account and be pissed about losing 500 bucks. It's just kind of, because to me, it's more about the game, I guess, about each account is its own game, right? Like a $5,000 account is its own game that can't lose. Like it's got to win. It can go up and down, but eventually it's got to win. Like it's like that's like you got to make it win. And you got to do everything you can to eventually make it win. And the same thing applies. So I get obsessed with that idea. So whenever I'm doing something or whenever I'm trading, my number one goal is to not to lose a lot that day. That's my number one goal is not to lose a lot of money. It's defense. Someone said the other day on my live, they said, I'm starting to do what you're doing on defensive trading. Like where I'm like, I'm basically capturing wins way faster. The second I get them, I'm capturing them faster. I'm using stop losses quicker. I'm going into break even. He goes, he's like, my account is up massively in the last few weeks. He's like, you changed the way I traded. I became more defensive. I went after, uh, for me, I found that's the best way to leverage trade for me. I've tried all the other ways that other people do them. I've tried to mimic a few other traders here and there, and it never seems to work for me. Like, and I found like what works for me is scalping small time frames. And when I see a really big opportunity, opening up the big trade, but never going for the whole trade. Like just being, I usually go for 2 grand for 8 grand. When I'm up 3 grand, I take the money, you know? And again, there's some bigger trades that I could have left open and made even more. And there's some long-term trades I could have just let sit, like when we cracked some key areas. But it just, instead of putting, let's just say 10 grand at 10x leverage, I literally put in 100 grand in spot. So like I don't really show everyone all the things I do for security of my own life. You know what I mean? I really can't. I just can't. I can't say everything that I'm doing. I show you guys my alt portfolio and stuff like that, and it's still a $500,000 alt portfolio, right? But I do a lot on for basically I did a lot on spot for Bitcoin that basically that's what changed my life in the last year. Again, It's crazy. I didn't after Bitcoin already made its big runs and changed my life the first time. Like I was like, I never really, I definitely thought this would be altcoin season. Like if you told me we were gonna go to 100K and the altcoins would kind of be all right, but not wouldn't pump that much, I'd be like, really? Like I don't know if I would have like, you know, believed in that. But again, we had the ETFs. We had so much money coming into Bitcoin. This flag looks like it could play out. What you always want to see is this 21. See how the 21 crossed the 200? Very bullish sign. It gives you that hope that you can start to kind of get a move on out of here. And look, we finally got a shoulder. I kept saying to everyone, eventually we need to stop the bleeding with a real pattern. You need an inverted head and shoulder. You need to break through a previous high, right? You got to stop the bleeding with a previous pattern. We're still pretty flat. This trade's pretty flat. Really not doing much. And it looks like we still may roll over. Let's see if we can hold. Look at your 5 minute. Yeah, it'd be a nice, beautiful move up to the 200 and the five, too. Boom. You even take profit like right there where when we hit the five by 99,000. Again, maybe I'd make a little more than break even on the night and I'd be able to call it. That's why I usually don't short long. I usually just pick one direction. Usually I'm in this trade only and I'm calling the reversal, right? Very rare that I'm doing the short. It's actually kind of odd for me, to be honest. But the 4 hours below the 200 and I gotta listen to that. So now we're making a bit of a ascending triangle, kind of bull pennant feel. Good vibes, possibly. Yeah. So if I wasn't in the market yet, would I DCA? How would I feel about the market? I would nibble, but nibble lightly, you know, because you never know. Um, and if I had deep pockets, I'd be buying a lot of coins today because I'd be like, why not? Like it's undervalued. It's you're buying fear. You got to buy the fear, right? Back to 74 ain't bad, especially if you're getting into this bullish time, all the way back to 74 in the fear and greed index. Solana looks like it may be getting a pump and could make an inverted head and shoulder there and get out of this. And we're back to business as usual. It's more likely we hope, look, resistance, resistance. I mean, very strong support right there. Oh, wow. We did wick. We wicked all the way to 186. No, 191 was the low of that candle. 187. Yeah, wow. 187. We've already bounced a little bit. Getting tight here. A decision's about to be made for Bitcoin in the next couple minutes. 2, 3 minutes, we're gonna have to know. We're gonna pump or dump. Stochastic suggests we pump to the upside. Tightness suggests we pump to the upside and above the 200. And the smooth moving average suggests that we pump to the upside. At the same time, what doesn't suggest? You know what? When I'm not a fan of. See how the 21 is curving? Like it's gonna roll over. Not saying it will. Just I'd rather it be like rather it be curving up. There it goes. Still got this kind of see how it's got this curve. Sketchy vibes for me personally. And after a big dump like this, I usually just take a couple days to assess what happened. Sometimes you can't even, right? I mean, the market never sleeps. But usually you got a couple days to like a week from now, you'll look back and you'll feel differently about the dip. I can't explain that, but you will. Like this is just how you'll be like, you won't be as affected by it. And you'll realize how affected you were by it too. You'll be like, wow, I was pretty affected by that. Like, this is how I know we're also in a bull market, right? We got into neural AI at 7. It's at 15. Like, it didn't dump because Bitcoin dumped. Gamma swap, where there's still a lot out here. Virtual is really at 163 is pretty interesting. Um, Actually, it's not at 163 though. That price action is wrong. Some of these prices are wrong. This happened the other day. Hold on. Let me double check those. Because the other day I looked at that and the price for virtuals was not 263, right? It was still like 250. It was not 160, I mean, it was 250. So for whatever reason, I don't know why that's not. Let me just reset it or something. Maybe I just need to reset it and I hadn't reset it. I hope that's the case. Because man, they're the best. How could they not be getting their API right? Anyway, if I was gonna buy or DCA into any coin, virtuals would be one thing I'd be looking at. That would, or even just the swing trade. This looks like it's likely gonna get a big pump back to the upside. If anything pumps back and if Bitcoin continues to do its thing, looks like virtuals could do its thing. Pump all the way to 451. So that's its next target. The daily's not, far from the 21-day moving average, oversold. You got some hidden bullish divergence here as well as this swings up, but that swings down on the RSI. So I wouldn't be surprised if this coin of all the coins pumps to the upside. And this is what I do. I usually focus on like 2 to 4 coins after a Bitcoin dump. And then as the market starts to rally back, we start to kind of piece together what's happening. You got to think what would be hot right now. Any liquid staking protocol, DeFi, because it has its own thing going for it, right? Which tells me that look at that beautiful pump. Look at that. Bang, right? Let's see. Sick. Go, baby, go. Again, it will just equal me out now, right? I'll be basically hedged back. And again, the stop doesn't shouldn't be too far from the 200 because if we lose that, then you could say, well, it's not happening anyway. Nice squeeze there on the shorts. I squeezed myself right there. The 4 hour is looking like it can get above that 200. Looking strong. Matter of fact, let me see something. I want to see something else here. I want to look at the Bitcoin 200 on the 4 hour time frame and the 2 hour and the 3 hour. I mean, so far it's attempting to put in a 1 hour double bottom from there and there, and from these two too, right there. I mean, that's a beautiful double bottom. Can you break through that 200 MA is the question. I'll keep both trades open. And what's the worst case scenario? They come down and stop me out on the long and then rip back to the upside, right? So that's possible. It's definitely possible, especially on a Thursday. But I didn't risk a lot on the long either. So And again, so the worst I could lose is $600 at the end of the day. If they do both things to me, I lose $600. I'll be okay. I'll wake up tomorrow and I'm sure I'll be able to make it through my day. I don't think the 600 will, I think I'll be fine. So, you know what I mean? I'm not, what would bother me if I was risking 6 or 7 grand, you know what I mean? And I woke up tomorrow down 7, 8 grand. And again, I could probably afford to do that. Like, but I don't do that. I just want to reiterate that. Like, I'm far less risky than most people realize. It may seem like I am because I like buy things. Oh, he buys this much of this, of that. But trust me, I'm not risking what I'm not willing to lose. Right. I'm in my parameters. So look, now it's like we pumped up and it just looks like it wants to come back down. I'd be very careful trading tonight in any way. I'm just trusting the 200 man, the 4 hour with a head short. Really, that's it. And playing with a very small scalp. At the end of the day, I'm not really doing anything too crazy. So I would advise, I can't tell you what to do, but I wouldn't add to any ideas to be reckless. The highest probability is that we'll stay below the 4 hour and we'll continue to dump from my years of data. I'd love it if that doesn't happen. So, and we're gonna wait a couple days to see how the smoke settles. The only, virtuals is a hot coin I would look at. TMAI is a hot coin I would look at. C pool is a hot coin I would look at. It's holding its gains from the pop earlier today, right? You can see. Not amazing, but it didn't dump with Bitcoin. It created a quick opportunity that people saw was an opportunity. Another reason why it looks like when you see a lot of coins that do this, it's more likely Bitcoin's going to bounce logically because you're like, if we were in a bear market, then everything would dump and everyone would be abandoning everything. But that just doesn't seem to be the case. You know what I'm saying? So like this is at 11, like this is still higher than we got in at 7. Funny. There's still a budding Web3 demand for fast, amazing, and gaming could change the world the way it's combined with Web3. So, so let's pray that I'll lose the short. I end up winning the same amount on the long. They cancel each other out. I'll wake up tomorrow morning at break even and we get to long and continue the moves, right? So that would be like the best case scenario for tonight. And so far, it looks like it could happen. So we'll go from there. Worst case scenario, I lose $600. Best case scenario, I could even maybe, hedge this one up a little bit, maybe come out $200 in profit. We'll see. I don't trust the longs until they can get us above the 4 hour 200 MA. But that doesn't mean I won't scalp the small time frames. You see? All right, now let's take a look at tokenomics. Worst daily performers, Lola, Blink Dot Fun, funny. Recently turned bullish, Memes AI, Chronos, Cyberdog. Best daily performers, Bebe, Pengu. Oh yeah, should have known, right? A Bangu, Pengu. Aeon, Inshore, Iurk AI, and Bach Games. What is this thing? Iurk AI. You click on that? Should be able to click on that. They keep Blub just never stops being put up. Every day Blub is number one there. Market cap keep got hit to I'm finding it dumb. It's not there anymore, right? But they for weeks they had Blub up there. Funny now it's gone. Gamma Swap keeps coming up at a $27 million market cap. Morphware keeps coming up. This one had a pretty good pump, actually, uh, and had pretty good volume today. Well, I always can do, you can just take a look at it there. Or I take a look, you can click on it. I like to just kind of keep that page there. Morphware, $99 million market cap. So small. Was only on Uniswap. Pretty small volume, actually. Oh, I'm getting that confused with Morpho. Sorry, Morpho with an O next to it. That was on Mexi. But you can see like any coin with a Morph AI, Morph O seems to getting some steam right now. The Morph narrative. Neural AI, I really like this coin. We bought it in at $7. It's at 11. I don't know why their prices aren't correct. It's kind of weird considering its token metrics, you know. Sharp AI, they still like that coin. MP Real, it just has that virtual connection. It's a virtual sentient AI kind of coin, this one right here. So definitely something I'd be paying attention to. There's a chance that thing could do numbers too as well. MP Real. Does that come out here? MP Real. And see, it had $22.4 million in volume. And of course, a lot of these things have crashed, right? They're newer coins, so they've taken it. But look, this is very functional. All of it already generates tons of money from transaction fees. Super low token supply, relatively low market cap. You know, I would definitely research this stuff, and this dip could create a really good opportunity. All right, that's a sad thing too. Like, you know, it takes the person that's willing to take a risk that makes the most. Sad to say. We don't know. Maybe we are entering a lower market, and we don't. You know, and again, that's why I wouldn't just go and ape into all these things. I would DCA into one here and there, and then maybe the DCA is wrong and it turns wrong, and it's like, oh, at least I didn't put tons of money in just yet. I tested the waters. And I just decided to see where it would go. And I take pictures of these for the new people in the group, and I'll post this to inside of what's called the token metric section inside the Discord. And I'll show you like so. And we do this every week if you're new. And they give me newsletters. I go to webinars and just like learn about because like they know about brand new. Like people contact them and like we're coming out. Like, could we do a press release with you guys? And they're like, yeah, yeah. So like now that's been a standard of operation. So they're just gonna know. Like people are gonna come to them when new coins come out. So it's a no-brainer to stay in contact and to use the token metrics as a resource, in my humble opinion. P-Pods Finance, P's, right? Ondo back at 169, but it was just 69 cents just the other day. Not like Ondo lost the sauce here. So even after a dip like this, you can see there's a lot of strength in this market and certain sectors and that's why too diversifying is key. Like, I do have a good amount of coins, but that means I always have a few strong ones too when the market's dumping. There's something that's like holding my portfolio up. Like that Ondo, that remember, I mean, I piled into Ondo and I kept talking about it. And I think people thought I was a little crazy because it was kind of a boring coin at the time, and it was going kind of sideways. And I know a lot of people might have talked about it and this and that, but no one was really actually showing the fact that they were buying it. And I kept being like, man, I'm stacking up. Like this thing is going to become institutional and I'm going to have a piece of it. Altura is actually very bullish too, holding 14 cents. I own some Altura and I can see that that's actually. So I'm seeing a lot more strength in the market than I even previously thought I would see, specifically in the niche section where people would like deep dive and find a coin that not many people know about. And that's that phenomenon where like those coins won't dump as hard because they got too many people that have done too much deep diving research to buy that coin. And so it doesn't have basically flim flopping retail that's just gonna like freak out in the first sign of a red and sell the token. Neural AI has people that have been doing deep studies, sees the way that there's going to be a big market share and how they build AI gaming and how that could actually change the 3D infrastructure behind the gaming and really get a big portion of the market share, right? And then there's other people that just overlook a lot of that. and you had to get it on Uniswap too, right? So you had to like not only did you couldn't you had to do some work to get it. You know, you had to pay some ETH fees. You had to get your ETH sent to your MetaMask wallet. You had to do some work. Now they've updated the pricings, right? Thank gosh. But this one's wrong. That one's still wrong. But virtual is at 243. So yeah, if anything was odd, it'd be virtual. And then I would look at cookie.fun and just see what held up pretty nicely comparatively. Top 10, Farcoin, this thing's been ripping. Like in seven, it's up 100% in 7 days. And I think even today it was still up. And what is cookie.fun? It's kind of like your coin market cap for AI agents. They track 477 A agents, and they can tell you their tweets, what their biggest tweet was, what people are looking at, their average impressions, right? Like look at Griffin, it's getting 146,000 impressions. I feel like that can get to a $1 billion market cap almost faster than AI XBT can with the amount of impressions it's getting. So Griffin really is stealing the show here. And you just kind of start to like, and this is where all the stuff, and it all came out of virtuals. So to me, virtuals is probably like the most, I don't know, likely to get a bit of a bounce because it supports this whole ecosystem. AI 16Z is a new one too. That's been, look, it's sprouted up fast to almost $1 billion market cap. And there's new ones coming out each day too that we could speculate on. I mean, it gets pretty crazy. You think the Cookie token will do well too? Cookie at a $21 million market cap almost feels like that's a guarantee to pump. And then you look, you got Agent, Layer, Clanker. This new one, Tank, is starting to take some steam. I'd write Tank down. Tank's one that has seen now on a couple websites. People talk about it. It's it's been pushed or shilled or whatever. It's been around for whatever reason. The name is getting kind of around. So remember, Luna by Virtuals was an older one, still holding 70 million market cap. Henlo, funny Henlo. And then the market caps get smaller as we continue down this, wrap 1 million, 6 million. All right, and these are very, 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 Realist, Eliza, Limitless, Rex, Auto, Vader. Remember we found this VVAIFU that day that we found V on the live stream. It was kind of weird. Someone emailed me about it, but like we talked about V. You said V. V was the whatever letter. It all like anyway. Galactic Heist called Morph. That's interesting. Degen aliens and humans cause havoc across the universe. Home and Davy AI. Morph. Morph Ken Soul. Yeah, 162 members. I mean, it's a little small. Anyway, there's definitely a few things that I would nibble on tonight. Not a lot, though. Not a lot. Like Ondo is definitely something I'd take a nibble on. Neural AI is something I would take a nibble on, right? Um, Virtual is something I would take a nibble on. Really strong coins, or and again, if you want to speculate on narratives at this point, I mean, I just feel like if the market dips again, then you could get really hurt on a speculative call. I'd rather miss out on a little bit of pumpage. Um, okay. So Bitcoin's still pretty sideways, and it could go either way here tonight. And then we could dump, and if we dump, I'll end up making about like 500 bucks. I'll lose 100 on the long, but I'll make like 600 bucks on the short. So we'll see. I could even maybe add to the short too. Maybe end up making 1,000 bucks. So I'm pretty covered either way now on the night, no matter kind of what happens, unless they do a swing swap. You know what I mean? Which they could do that too. So, and let's just see what key levels we're looking at again one last time for Bitcoin here. So here we are again. We get back above the 4 hour 200 MA, then we basically double bottomed on that 1 hour, like I showed you. We kind of double bottomed here from wick to candle. And then you'd say, well, can we get above here, right? This next resistance, which is about 98,000. And remember, 97.2 is weekly support. We're back above it now. We're kind of in the clear right now. I have to be honest. It's all right. Like that's like a good sign. Now let's get above the 4 hour 200 MA and let's get this move further. Let's get the show on the road here. This would be key. So again, we go to sleep. I go to sleep a couple hours, 12, 8 o'clock. So 10 hours from now, which gives us about 2.5 candles. We were hoping that we get above 1, 2, and that half candle. We're somewhere here, possibly about to make a right shoulder. You see how that could be a shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder? And then we're on our way back up, and all-time high is not that far away again. It's basically a one head and shoulder back up there, and then this could be consolidation, and everyone can say, no, you were scared. No, you were scared. No, 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 you were scared. And we can get back to business. So this looks more and more likely as the night goes on. Again, there's no guarantees, but it looks more likely. Show me the close above the 200 MA, and I'll show you a more likely pump to the upside. But so far, I mean, when you get 1, 2, 3 wicks, this candle closes in 42 minutes. You have 3 giant wicks. Usually says there's a lot of people that want to get those prices. When was the last time we had that many wicks on the 4 hour? Like, it's almost very rare. There's 1 or 2. 1, 2. There's a bunch there. We definitely would pump eventually. There's a couple there we pumped. So yeah, this could just be a broadening rising wedge. And we're headed to the top of the channel. If I remember correctly, Bitcoin did this to us, right? Because I remember talking about the Livermore cylinder. Right about here, we did one of these. It was pretty insane. Made us think they were gonna, they made a beautiful flag, just like Bitcoin did here. They made us think they were gonna pump us to the upside. And then they completely wrecked it to the downside, brought it back inside the pattern, and eventually ripped it back out. And then if you open it up, you had to say we're in the broadening rising wedge. And so here looks, some eerily similar to how they had it in a flag. They broke it out, broke it right back down again. And now you're in the broadening rising wedge again. So let's see what happens. I gave you my game plan. You may do something slightly different. It's up to you. It's rare for me to hedge this way, but I also know a lot more about the 200 MA than I've ever have, and so I'm just going to take advantage of it for the night to see what happens. And that's kind of my update for Bitcoin and my update for the night. I wouldn't ape into too craziness, and I would stay calm and just relax here. I'm not selling all my coins, you know. Um, I would be panic selling, and that wasn't part of my plan, so that's not what I'm doing, right? Let me see in the chat here. I want to answer some chat questions. Just if, well, anyone, I grabbed Per and Hyperliquid. It looks like a nice, decent setup. Oh, that's a great. Sorry, I didn't get to talk about those. Thank you for saying that. So Hyperliquid's been super hot. All right, super super hot. This coin actually was really hot today. It went on a massive run. UFD, kind of on that same fart coin narrative. It is big. I mean, there's a chance this thing makes a run. I have to be honest. Again, it's highly speculative, super high risk, and it's called unicorn fart dust. Who knows? Who knows? But you know, 40 cents looks likely for the thing. It's in a bit of a bull flag. It pumped. So it's been pretty hot, if you can see. But we knew about it too. Somewhere back there, like someone told me about it. I think I even found it. If you, I was just clicking around and I saw it at a small market cap. But Per is on Hyperliquid, and Hyperliquid has been out of control. So you would think if Per pulls back at all or makes any little slight pullback, and look, it did. I mean, it came back down to this, 618 Fibonacci level. So this one has the liquidity, tends to pump hard. Again, it could just go to zero. It's high, it is a meme. I get it, but it's a stronger meme with a better narrative, more of a newer chain that people are really getting into and getting excited about. And there's a move there from about 41 to 90 cents. So you're looking over 100% gain there, possibly 139% gain. And then there's H Fun that kind of follows that. There's Hyper and there's Hyper Fun. And they're both memes on Hyper Liquid. And they're like the main memes that are getting the most attention and the biggest pump. And now they've pulled back a little bit. So if there's a chance that the market is strong, uh, we will get, these will pump pretty hard. So those are things I would watch too. And, there's some potential for some big movements there. Thank you for saying that. He said he grabbed Per. Smart move, dude. If there is some do not like XRP that you trade, you cannot deny the beauty of XRP BTC pair. Good Lord. The flag is textbook 4 hour, 8 hour, even the one day. Arrow took a beating. It did, yeah. Cerebro, bullish news, and it's moving. Cerebro is bullish. Funny, I talked about it today to somebody too. And you know what? It's been sideways for a while now. I mean, in the meme world, I feel like that's better than anything else because you just want to make sure that it's maintaining its current market cap and people aren't abandoning it. And it's, that way the more people can be more cult like and gain steam. Yeah, the thing looks like it could move to 113. I'd watch Cerebro. It's, crazy. I'm up 3x on Elon AI, saving my portfolio. Should I sell or hold? I don't know, man. It's up to you. I will never tell you what to do with your money, brother. How does it feel to squeeze your cell? I know, pretty funny, right? I should make a tutorial video about browser tab groups. I also got dozens open at once. Tab group saved my life. Check it. Most browsers just right click on the tab and add to group. 3. Love you. Thank you. Add to new group. You're the best, man. May God bless you. I'll probably change my life. Up 250 on demo. I bought on 30-second, 5 minute before Liver bought on the 1 minute. Just messing around with it. God bless you, man. But you front ran the signal. Could have been hurt, but it's okay. You did a good job. Since Bitcoin dumping, I've been weightlifting to cope with the stress. It's a good idea. Robinhood didn't even have stop losses. You just have to watch. That's crazy. How was Asia not reacting? Yeah, we're gonna dump. No, we're gonna pump the Bitcoin. Is trading with a 1K not good for trading BTC? I feel like the fees make it hard to get that 3 to 1. I mean, if you can trade MEXC or Weeks and hold the Weeks token, you just got to trade those two platforms and hold the tokens. You know, I get pissed losing demo money too because like the idea is you should be good at this. It's not about the money. It's about being able to move the numbers the way you want them to move. It should be a video game. You should treat it like a video game. You should treat trading like a video game. You know what I mean? Or a guitar song you're trying to learn. Like it shouldn't, you should try to, if you can, you should extrapolate the money and learn the process. It's hard to do, but the people that do that are eventually the people that make the most money because they eventually have something they can fall back on when the market gets out of control. Like you have something, you got to have as, you got to be like, Really grateful for all the tools you offer us. It's incredible. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for all the effort you put in, Sam. Your inspiration. You make people want to be better, and that's an amazing quality to have. God bless you. Thank you, Ace Lee. Can we look at Nosana? Yeah, that's also pretty strong right now. So look, we're above 97.2. And knowing the key areas that matter and believing in them, very important. Crazy, Nosana. Great, 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 great. Are you kidding me? You get so tight, ready to move. It's just like, dang, you know. Again, still above the 200 MA on the daily. So as long as you can stay above the 200 MA on the daily, you've broken out of that bearish doldrum. You don't want to lose. You lose the 200 on the daily, then I guess you'd have to say we're in for a double bottom again. But if it rips back to the upside, you know, we got some type of inverted head and shoulder. We can extend this and continue to rip. Still a great AI play. And when AI comes back, I believe Nosana is going to rip. Super happy I got Nosana when I did, and I wouldn't regret it. And I would still continue to DCA into it. And it's just back to where I started buying into it, actually. It's kind of crazy. But screen, please. That would help. Right? Yeah. Just looking at Nosana, see it dip. Look, I just can't believe how tight it was. It's just so rare that those don't play out. Like 90% of the coins that did this, they started pumping here. Nosana didn't get the pump, got late, 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 and then just never got the move. Yeah, Peak is another one that like it kind of got away. Like it looked hot, then it got away from us. And think about it, we put it out at 40 and it ripped hard to 78. And now it's sitting right there at 56. It's kind of like a no-brainer. I feel like this is like, you know, one of the hottest coins in the game, coming back to previous support as resistance. If anything pumps in the next few days, I think peaks, you know, also on the form. And again, this is what I found to be a forte. Every time we get these massive dumps, I'm able to figure out at least like there's always two or three coins that are obvious plays. And so for a swing trader, it can actually be pretty good. Like there can be, you can find opportunity on Bitcoin dumps because specifically when there's a lot of altcoins out there. Um, I remember we used to trade Crest for a while back in the day. I haven't looked at it in a long time. See, Crest doesn't look like peak though. It's like way below its level. It has to break back above the 200 MA. Um, Interesting though. It works with peak, huh? Okay. Sam, you're changing my life. Thank you. And God bless you and your family. Pray for you and everyone I'm grateful for. God bless you, Christian. Thank you. Yeah, Ohm too. Mantra DAO just doesn't care. Like that coin just doesn't care. Uh, it does look, it looks like it's gonna rip too. Look at that. Ohm, Mantra DAO. Yeah, set an alert on that. Watch that. That's in this coin has been hot and just does it. There was another dip Bitcoin had and it didn't care about recently. So the utility must be so good. People must be getting so much money. I bought this coin a long time ago and staked it somewhere, and I just don't know where it is. I never sold it, but the coin is somewhere. I swear I staked it on Leprechaun or some off-brand website let you stake your own. Um, that looks really nice. That's very tight. I'd set an alert on that puppy too. So there's some money out here. There's Sam. What do you think about Kronos? The CEO just had a meeting with Trump. Even that didn't pump the coin. Thank you. It's been around a long time with a very large market cap. That's all. I think it'll be here for a while and it will do a 5x. He said set alerts at what levels? I put a vertical line and I just put an alert on it. When price crosses it, I'm going to know. It's going to remind me to look at the coin again. Colin, I'm down big. Yeah, I mean, big. How much money did you put in the thing? It's a freaking tiny coin that could go to zero. Shouldn't be down big. It's like, what were you putting in? Oh, it dumped hard though, man. Basically rugged me. What is it like is it like a digital rugger? You know what I mean? Honestly, maybe just people don't know about it or the new people that are getting in sold it off. Well, let's see what happens, man. It's an AI coin with a swarm of AI working for it. If anything can climb back faster than you name it, you know what I mean? It could be an AI coin. So we'll see what happens. Who knows? I mean, again, we're highly speculative. I would just leave a lot of that high risk stuff alone, honestly. Like you could watch me and see what happens to me, but I'm just playing with stuff because I have profits and it's, you know what I mean? Take your mantra staking page for your own. It may be staked there. I'm gonna ride with you. I'm out 20 soul in it. Yeah, I think I did put like 16 soul in there too. So we'll see what happens, man. That stinks though. You know what I mean? I don't win everything. Again, I speculate. Sam, I want to say a massive thank you. Been in the 99 for 6 months now and learning so much. Haven't missed one of your daily lives for a year now. Appreciate you and your team for always being there. Out with my dogs now, so missing the screen live, but I still got one earbud absorbing the information. Cheers from Thailand. Hey, God bless you, the chef, man. And I hope everything's going well with yours, man. Great cheering, gotta jump. You know, make a dinner. God bless you. Good night. Yeah, everyone, I'm gonna take a break too. Insane dump. Good to get a good night rest. Reset for tomorrow. You know, let the dust settle, get our minds right. The best thing for us is to have good night's sleep, have a good workout, have our mind right, have our body right. That's how we'll handle these dumps, these dips, and not get too emotional. You know, if you're lacking sleep, if you're all over the place and you're running, yeah, you don't want to do that. You want to reset the mind, reset the body, and then we'll see where we're at. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm going to do too. So we see what the strong coins are. We post them to the group. We can see where the money is likely to flow. There's some opportunity definitely tonight. We'll look back on this time and be like, man, the people that were able to take opportunity will probably, we'll be able to basically make the gains. So I love you all. Thank you for being here. Let me stop the share and I'll let this thing reset, process, and then I'll upload it to YouTube. God bless you all. Thank you so much. And yeah, and that's why again, even the little bit of profits that I took, they're not huge compared to my portfolio, but they felt good. It felt good to pay myself. You know what I mean? And maybe this week I'll make another 16 grand. You know what I mean? It only took 7 days. Like there's so much opportunity out here. So I just keep believing on the opportunity. I keep believing there's opportunity coming and it comes because that's what I believe. Like the reality is what my mind creates. Like, and it's not a fallacy. You're working hard for it every day. You can't sit in bed and just go, I'm the opportunity and not get out of bed. Like that doesn't work. You know what I mean? But if you believe and you put in the action, you're going to be ahead of the people that just put in the action. You know what I mean? Again, there's like, I love this story. Two guys, Jim Rohn says it too. If you listen to my Jim Rohn stuff every morning, but he was like two guys and they both chop trees for a living. And one dude takes an hour off every day and comes back, and the other guy doesn't. And the other guy that takes an hour off every day ends up doing more than the guy that doesn't. And the guy's like, what are you doing? Like every day you disappear for an hour. I work, and at the end of the week, you do more than me. And he's like, oh, I'm sharpening my axe. He's like, I go home and sharpen my axe. And because his axe is sharpened, he's able to chop way more trees down. The other guy's axe is dull, but he doesn't take the time. He just keeps working. So like hard work is great. And everyone thinks I'm a hard worker, but like you got to work with your mind too. You know what I mean? And you want to position yourself in places in life. Sad to say, a lot of people aren't doing this. I was lucky and blessed enough. And as I'm telling you this, I see myself sitting in a park. I was always in Union Square, somewhere down in the village, but I would be on a park bench. And when you're in New York City, it's always going. And living in New York City for 20 years, I would watch people. And I remember I would, I'd go into the city during college one day. And I'd sometimes I was alone. Sometimes I'd be with friends and we'd be in a park or something. And I'd kind of daydream on my own for a second when my friends were talking. I'd just be looking and I'd watch all the people. And I'm like, I could be a doctor, I could be a lawyer, I could be a car driver, I could be a trash truck driver. Like, and I saw all the professions literally in 5 seconds. You can see like 100 professions, right? And your subconscious mind is just like, You see guys selling fruit on the corner. You see hot dog, people, and you're like, man, you see business guys getting out, shaking hands, like, oh, that guy looks like he's worth millions. He's coming out of like Wall Street, and you're like, man, who do I want to be? You know, I saw actors and I saw people that were in the film industry. I saw photo shoots, and the girl would come out and they all be. I was like, do I want to be an actor? Do I want to be a filmmaker? Do I want to be a multimillionaire trader? Like, and I saw all these people, and I was like, and I really got to sit and think, like, who do I want to be? And number one, I knew I saw businesses, and I said, man, online businesses seem to have a one up, right? Look at the guy that has let's look at an online business and a restaurant. Now the restaurant's cool. You get to meet people and touch people. That's nice, but like you got to be there every day. If the food goes bad, if someone doesn't eat the right thing, you know, me, I sell my mind. My product is my mind, right? Like, and it's virtual, and people can buy it around the world 24/7. You can't like that beats a brick and mortar business. I'm sorry, in this day and age. And so I thought about this, like, and I thought, is it an accident that I'm where I am today? And it can't be. Like, I used to sit and watch society, and the whole point of this rant is like I had a chance to really think about where I wanted to place myself in life and not just do it. And this rant started with thinking, not just right. I was like, don't just work, the guy that sharpened his axe. So like while I was getting somewhere in life and making my moves, I kept thinking like I could have put a lot of energy into any business, but I knew online businesses would probably pay off more. So while I was directing myself, I was also analyzing my direction and fine tuning it as I saw society changing and as I saw opportunities changing. You know what I mean? Um, and there's going to be more. There's going to be things like, and I love Jim Rohn because he says the opportunities today may not be there tomorrow. He goes, this world is an ever changing, always moving world. And the skills you have today may not pay you tomorrow. You may have to learn new skills to be able to stay up to date. And look at AI now and what's going on with AI and like, you know, and so it's I used to hear that and it used to kind of give me the chills a little bit. It used to frighten me a little bit because I'd be like, oh my God, like I know so much now and I have to recreate myself. How much more do I have to? How much more do I have to know? What do I have to know, Jim? What do you mean? And I'd be so like overwhelmed, you know? Uh, but that fire I put under myself is the fire that the people that really wanted to be truly successful were putting under themselves too. Like they knew that there was this burning desire to know, man, I can't just sit flat with what I know. I gotta be ready. And that's why when crypto came, I grabbed onto it. Like, and the next thing I'm gonna grab onto, like, I'm, that's really the true skill of an entrepreneur. It's really like my true skill is not truly trading. It's not truly online, all that. It's my ability to find what the next possible opportunity is and to learn and to quickly learn and educate myself so that I'm relevant again. Think about it. I was a video editor. If I just stayed video editing, I wouldn't be in this space with this awesome community and doing what I'm doing. I would just been a video editor. No one would have known me, but I grasped onto something new. I saw that it was going to be big and I transitioned myself into that industry, right? Because I could see that there was going to be growth there, you know? And it's still a very early industry with a lot of growth, everybody. Like, and I know that's why a lot of you people are still here, and there's so many ways to go about it. You can build NFTs, you can couple with projects, you can become a developer, you can learn how to code, you can develop AI, and there's just so many ways to go. Someone says, are we doing the yacht? Yes, we will do the yacht. We'll do the yacht. I'll do the yacht in 2025. Not this year though, but we'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do it. No reason why not to. It's a write-off anyway, so who cares? But yeah, my whole thing is, and everything that happened in my life and that's happened to each and every one of you comes from your heart, right? Like and it's funny, people used to say that to me. And I remember I watched a Grant Cardone video. It was like, don't follow your heart. Follow where the money goes. He's like, whoever told you follow the heart's for, and I kind of like almost resented that. I love Grant, but that one video got to me a little bit. I was like, man, like, and I really did. There was days when I was like, I need to follow my heart. And I was like, that's not going to get me paid. And I remember when I started my first, video on my channel and I quote unquote followed my heart and like I got 10 views and I was at this little old desk with an old mic and I was like, so this is what following your heart feels like, huh? I was like being broke. I was like, this ain't too fun, but like Somehow, some way, one video led to another and another and another. And who would have thought, like, from my trading, from my channel, like I would eventually be able to walk in any store and get, buy whatever clothes I want or do it. And again, it's not material, but when you're a middle class kid and you didn't have that ability and you were around rich people who just, you could see just, there was that like, oh man, I wonder what that would be like. You know what I mean? Like, I have to be honest. Like, I always wondered what that would be like. You know, I never went into Bloomingdale's or even looked at it because it was like, I can't afford the little glass figurine in that store. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not even going in there. Like, and to be able to, like, I don't know, like, now I walk by those stores and like, I still don't go in, I guess, because I'm like, I bought a few things in there. Like, I don't really care like those people do. But I guess it's just like, rich people kind of make you feel like you're out and they're in. And it's like, no, I'm in now. Like, and I got in my own way, and we can all get in our own way. And then we can spread wealth to other people and we can do really nice things. Like, one thing I like to brag about is helping others, right? Or just doing nice things for people. I don't mind talking about that. And like my wife came and she had her family over. She had her friends. One of our friends is, a single mom with two kids struggling. And, you know, I got to take everyone out to dinner. They always like, "Oh, thank you, Sam," and they all said thank you to me. Like I was just, and it was like, and I was like, "Oh, it's nothing. Like, don't worry about it." Like I was very, I want to be humbled about it, but like I was never able to do that before in my life, you know. And it just like, those are the moments that, and everyone's like, "Why don't you take a day off?" You could take the weekend off. People keep lately talking to me, just take a Saturday off, Sam. You don't need to go on the weekend. And I just love what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I just love what I'm doing. So uh, it provides me the ability to do so much for other people. And I don't want to stop doing things for other people and helping them. And I guess, yes, I'm having a great life. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm on a good run. It's great. Like it's fun. But the best things in life are like being able to help other people, you know? Like once you have everything you want, like you really can't get that high off of buying a car anymore. You can't really get that high. Like for me personally, I don't know about you guys, but like Lamborghinis and stuff, I don't know. Maybe I will, but I personally don't think that stuff will do much for me. Um, but I know like when I see like when I saw that single mom and I saw her kids and I knew they could go to any restaurant and if they were cold, I was like, hey, let's get you guys a sweater, whatever you guys need. Like, and I wanted to buy things for them. I wanted to spend all my money on them, because I knew like they didn't have a dad. Like their dads weren't there for them. Like they didn't have a dad like my girls did. And sorry, I don't mean to cry, but like it like sucks when I see kids without their that don't have a good set of parents. Um, you know, they don't deserve that. Like I had a good, I had my mom and dad, and I think losing my mom and dad made me a little emotional when I saw them like not have their dad. So, uh, sorry, I hate when I'm such a baby. But the idea behind it all is when we work our butt off, we think we're doing it for ourselves, and eventually our life gets better. But then one day you turn around and you realize you can you have this freedom to do so much for other people, and that's very powerful. And then there's a responsibility with that too. You know, when you start making money, there's a responsibility to do the right things with it, and that's not easy for everybody. That's like the next challenge, and that's why having a good wife and kids for anyone will keep you in line. You know, I can't go out and like go to the club all night. Like that's not going to happen. Like, you know, put myself in places where you see a lot of these people, get themselves messed up. Um, anyway, I love you guys. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to ball up. I just those girls. I've been watching them since they were young, and I've been watching them grow up without a dad. And every time I see them, it just makes me realize how lucky I was to have my dad. So God bless you all. Have a great night. Thank you so much for everything. I wish I could, push Bitcoin back up. It looks like it can still dip. I got the head short. I showed you what I did We'll see what happens tonight. I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm usually really good and accurate, but right now my accuracy, when the market does this, I need a few days for me to get back to how accurate I am. I can't just like we're all in like I gotta figure out what's happening. You know what I mean? I do know when we're below that 4 hour, there's a high chance we're going to continue to dump, you know, and I can see the key levels that we're going to likely go to. And Bookmap has lower liquidity. And look, we just lost the 200 on the 1 minute again. You know that flag did not play out strong. You see, so and again, kind of respected that on a Thursday night because things are just. I wouldn't be surprised if we just flip flop all night too, and you see just a lot of sideways price action. Uh, and that's why I love trading the 2 hour because no matter what you don't know or do not know, just go back test the 4 hour 200 May and you'll see. Go look tonight if you want to try me. Go look at 100. Go look at 10 assets. Go spend 1 hour tonight or 20 minutes and go find 5 different assets to 10 different assets. Go find like General Motors. Find whatever you like. You know, I think Costco's, whatever you want. Put the 4 hour on and look at the 200 May. See how many times you dump when you go below it, and see how many times you even do go back above it or you used to go right below it. And say if I would have shorted this, how many times I would have won? And go find 50 instances, and then see how many times you would have won that short. And you'll see why I'm doing what I'm doing tonight. You know, it's just based off chart data. Like I don't do anything really crazy. Have a great night, everyone. I love you, and thank you for all your support. And God bless you all. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow morning.